As a Christian, it's essential to approach the topic of climate change with a critical and nuanced perspective. While some may argue that climate change is a hoax for an overblown issue, others claim it's a pressing concern that requires immediate attention. However, upon closer examination, it becomes clear that the narrative surrounding climate change has been hijacked by ideologies that often contradict biblical values. To fight back against the fake climate change agenda, Christians must first understand the underlying motivations and tactics employed by its proponents. One of the primary ways to combat the fake climate change agenda is to seek out credible sources of information. This involves looking beyond the sensationalized headlines and emotive appeals often used to sway public opinion. Christians should consult reputable scientific organizations such as the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration or the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change or IPCC to gain a more balanced understanding of the issue. By doing so, they can separate fact from fiction and make informed decisions about the role of human activity in shaping the environment. Another crucial step is to recognize the ideological underpinnings of the climate change movement. Many of its proponents advocate for a radical transformation of societal structures, often rooted in secular humanism, socialism, or eco-spirituality. These worldviews frequently elevate the creation above the creator, blurring the lines between environmentalism and worship. Christians must be cautious not to conflate the biblical mandate to care for the earth Genesis 1:28 with the idolatrous tendencies in some environmentalist ideologies. In addition, Christians can fight back against the fake climate change agenda by promoting a more holistic understanding of stewardship. This involves recognizing the intricate relationships between human flourishing, economic development, and environmental conservation. By advocating for solutions that balance these competing interests, Christians can help mitigate the unintended consequences of draconian climate policies, such as increased energy poverty, economic hardship, and restrictions on individual freedoms. Christians can also engage in respectful dialogue with those who hold differing views on climate change. By listening to their concerns and sharing their own perspectives, believers can build bridges and foster greater understanding. This approach is rooted in the biblical command to love thy neighbor as thyself, Mark 12:31, which includes loving those with whom we disagree. Moreover, as Christians engage with others on this issue, they should strive to maintain a tone that is both gracious and persuasive, demonstrating the compassion and wisdom that characterize their faith. Furthermore, Christians should support policies and initiatives that prioritize the well-being of all people, particularly those in vulnerable communities. This might involve advocating for the development of cleaner energy sources, promoting sustainable practices, and protecting the world's most vulnerable populations from the adverse effects of climate change. By taking a people-centric approach, Christians can help refocus the conversation on the real human costs of misguided climate policies, such as food insecurity, limited access to energy, and economic instability. To effectively push back against the fake climate change agenda, Christians must also reclaim the narrative surrounding biblical creation care. They can do this by educating themselves on the science and biblical basis for responsible stewardship of the earth. The biblical mandate in Genesis 1:28 and Psalm 24:1 teaches that humans were created in the image of God with the explicit task of carrying and managing the earth's resources. Ultimately, as Christians work to combat the fake climate change agenda, they will want to reclaim the topic of climate change from the struggle of misinformation to be a faithful stewardship of the earth's requirements we must listen to combat agenda.